Can you hear me now? Oh, thank God. Sorry. No, I reinstalled the app and I didn't give permission for the microphone to continue. Very stupid. Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? How is it going? All good? One second. One second, guys. We'll just start in like 2 minutes. We'll just wait for everyone doing good on a biological level. That's nice. Oh yeah, I'm at 2,928. Almost a 3,000 members, man. Not bad at all. Yeah, Bangalore, it's raining right now. Um, so it's quite peaceful. Very, very, very peaceful. Extremely peaceful in Bangalore. Oh, it's raining in Pune also. I'm close to 1,000 followers. I have no idea. I haven't been tracking that at all, guys. Okay, I'm just waiting for a few people to join. I think so Rakshit's asking me a question, when will the app be bug free? I think this week itself we finally figured out that lag issue. So the lag issue is gonna go out completely. So it's gonna be completely lag free. What's SPAC? Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna talk about. SPAC. A lot of people don't know what SPAC is. Don't worry, we will talk about it today. By the end of today, I think everyone will know what SPAC is. It's very weird, man. It's very weird. It's a new weird instrument. Um, Again, we will talk about it. It's also one of the hottest things in the market right now, sadly. Are you planning on Voices PC app? No idea. I'll let you know. I'll tell you why sadly as well. There's see, everything in the financial world has an impact, has a side effect. Do you guys agree to that? Everything has a side effect. That's why. So I'll tell you what it is. Okay, I think we can begin, right? 5 minutes up. I usually wait 5 minutes for people to come, but okay. Okay, guys, let's start. Chalo. Okay. Now, what is a SPAC? Okay, RCB to bat first. Okay, sorry, I'll be slightly fast because a lot of people want to see the batting. Okay, so what is a SPAC? Okay, SPAC is the basic full form of SPAC is it's called Special Purpose Acquisition Companies. Okay, Special Purpose Acquisition Companies is the full form of SPAC. It is also one of the hottest investment trends of the moment right now. Okay, now what is this SPAC or what is basically happening? I'll tell you. Okay, now assume, say for example, Avalon wants to go public. Okay, and Avalon is not profitable but it wants to go public, assume. Okay, now what happens is in India there is a lot of rules and regulations saying that okay, you need to be profitable for so and so months, and if you're not profitable then the retail participation is so much, you need to have at least minimum this much market cap, etc., etc. Both are rules and regulations. I think you guys know about that, right? Now, same type of rules and regulations are also there in US. Okay. Now, obviously, it is very advantageous for a company to go and list as an IPO in the States. in USA. Okay, if there's a company in say Sri Lanka who's very big, I would rather list it in USA rather than listing myself in Sri Lanka. So that is what basically the logic or the idea is behind this. Okay, so SPAC is basically a company or an instrument, actually let's call it like an instrument made specifically for companies who want to go IPO, who want to do listing in the stock market. Okay, a direct listing in the stock market, especially in, say for example, direct listing in the stock market, especially in the states, because SPAC has not been very famous in India or obviously in Southeast Asian countries. So SPAC, SPAC is also known something, it's also called as a blank check company. Okay, now I'll tell you how the SPAC works. Firstly, okay, a very famous guy or a company, okay, either it's an individual person or it is a company, okay, will make a shell company, kullam kulla shell company. So for all the people who don't know what a shell company is, a shell company is basically a company that has nothing, no employees, no idea what operations, no business, nothing. It's just a dummy company. Okay, so either an investor or maybe a group of investor, and these people are known as sponsors. Okay, these people set up one shell company first. Okay, now this shell company, no, you can make a company that is absolutely doing nothing right now, because we want to figure out what this company is. It's called a shell company. Okay, now what they do is they go and list this shell company in the market. Okay, this company that is doing nothing. Okay, they will be like, let's go and list a shell company. Okay, now the idea behind listing a shell company is, obviously if it's a shell company and people know it, nobody will invest. But the idea here is that the SPAC investors or the SPAC investor, what he does is, he's like, you know what, I am going to take that money and I'm going to either do a merger or an acquisition of a company and then go IPO in it, and etc etc etc, something or the other. Okay, and they want to list it in the stock market, something like that. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, now what this person does is, or this group of individuals known as sponsors, they make a shell company, they list a shell company in the market. Say for example, they raise 100 crores. Now once they raise 100 crores, the company is still not doing anything, zero zitch, nothing. Okay, there's no actual company. Okay, but what happens now is, either they go acquire a company. Okay, this SPAC company created by someone, say Rahul created a SPAC company in US, and Rahul's like, अच्छा मैं पूरा दुनिया में स्कैन मारूंगा, किसको आईपीओ चाहिए. So I want to be like, dude, I want to do an IPO. Okay, he'll be like, okay, cool, you want to do an IPO? I already have a listed company. Now what we'll do is, obviously you cannot come and list. So what we'll do is, either I'll acquire you, okay, or I will do a merger with you. But you will be the owner of that company, either a merger or an acquisition. Now the combined entity, the Avalon Meta and the Rahul SPAC, become a combined entity, and it starts trading on the stock market. Crazy, right? Now look at the advantage for me as a person, right? Me as Avalon, I don't have to do all the money related to the legal costs that I have to pay to get listed, all the bribe that I have to give to get listed, nonsense. It usually takes a year to get listed. Then I have to go meet all the investors and be like, please invest in my fund, please invest in my IPO, thoda le lo, idhar le lo, udhar le lo. All that nonsense marketing, not required at all. Basically I bypass everything and directly go list in the states. So for example, today if I want, I can actually go list Avalon in United States if there's a SPAC ready to acquire me or merger with me, right? That's how it is. Okay, so it is very 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 weird. Okay, it is not something that is normal, but it is very weird, and this is bypassing a lot of people, and apparently it is very legal as well. Okay, now once the SPAC buys a startup or once they do an acquisition, obviously they directly get listed in the stock market. Now, SPAC, by the way, is not a very, very new instrument. By the way, SPAC has been operational for a very long period of time. Okay, it is not something new, it has been there, but only now it has been popular. Why? Because now entrepreneurs can come in the stock market and start listing their companies, which earlier they could not do that easily. Now every company wants to come and list in the stock market and do it, right? So now a lot of startups are coming with their overinflated valuations, and instead of doing an IPO and wait for 12 months, to get the approvals from SEBI and all that, or not SEBI, sorry, SEC. They're just going to a SPAC and being like, SPAC, you come acquire me. You've done all the stuff. Please acquire me, and we'll be done with this, right? So it's extremely weird. Um, what is happening in this. Okay, now every time something like this starts booming, and by the way, this pack is actually booming only because of a lot of celebrity involvement. Okay, lot of people have made it cool right now in the market. Okay, there is, so for example, there is something called as celebrity associated SPACs. Okay, अभी वो भी चालू है. So there are celebrity associated SPAC where, for example, there is Serena Williams, a tennis champion. Okay, there is basketball Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, he's also involved in a SPAC. Okay, he also invests in the SPAC and is a sponsor in that SPAC. So a lot of big people are coming and doing SPACs. Okay, even Virgin Galactic is doing going public through a SPAC. It is just very weird. Okay, last year, last year, Spack has raised more than $83 billion. Okay, $83 billion the SPACs have raised. Okay, which is insane. Cool. Now, for example, there are lot, as I told you, right? When a SPAC comes, then usually what they do is they get a lot of big founders or big people, right? Apparently, who's this guy? Chamath. Chamath is very famous. If you have not watched his videos, you should definitely watch Chamath's videos. Chamath is apparently known as the king of SPAC. Okay, so there's this very nice article on TechCrunch which says Chamath launches SPAC, and SPAC as he SPACs the world with SPAC. Okay, damn weird article. uh, but that's what it is. Okay, one second. Yeah, so now the SPACs, okay, what they do is, I'll tell you another smart thing that the SPACs do. Okay, firstly, once they get all these founders and stuff like that, or, they get all these people to start a SPAC. Okay, they raised a lot of money in the IPO. Assume they raise $1 billion in an IPO to go then find a company to invest in or merge with, and then actually do whatever, right? So imagine they do that. Rahul made a SPAC. Okay, and Rahul's SPAC raised $1 billion. Now, what this Rahul does, he's like, okay, now I'm going to go find one nice company to acquire or merge. But till that time, I will go put this money to get some interest from the market. Okay, so these funds, $1 billion now, because he has so much liquidity, is kept in an interest bearing fund. Okay, and these funds cannot be used until an acquisition has come. If the acquisition hasn't happened, okay, then he has to return the money back. The SPAC generally has 2 years to complete a deal or face liquidation. So basically, if I don't do any acquisition in the SPAC, okay, for 2 years, if I don't find any company, then I have to give all the money back and then say, okay, done. The reason why this was created was only for acquisition. Sorry, boss, do saal mein I couldn't do an acquisition, so I'm really sorry. I'm sending it back. Now, someone just asked, right? Can't you just steal the 1 billion though, Rahul? Definitely, Rahul can steal 1 billion, right? But that is why I said, if Rahul comes to invest and says, I have a SPAC, none of y'all will invest. Okay, but Rahul says, okay, I'm doing a new SPAC called Rahul. Okay, but here I've got Elon Musk also as my sponsor. Would you invest? Yes, right? A lot of people would. They would be like, oh, Elon Musk be RS, so obviously this pack is definitely good, so I'm going to start investing in this. So that is the difference. That is why the sponsor and the fanfare and the celebrity thing is so high, because nobody trusts funds today, right? Nobody will trust a fund. But if the fund says, you know what, I'm getting such a big guy to also come and back this pack up, and that guy is also obviously putting his credibility on the line, then it actually goes through. Okay, so it's very, very, very weird. Now, how is a SPAC formed and how is it funded? Okay, how is a SPAC formed and how is it? What about the gained interest that is used for acquisition? Okay, obviously, I'm pretty sure they have to return that gained interest also, right? Because it's just people's money, that interest has to go back. Okay, let me tell you now how a SPAC is formed. Okay. Now, a SPAC is formed by an experienced management team or a sponsor, as we mentioned, with a nominal invested capital. Okay. Typically translating into a approximate 20% interest in this fact. Okay. So in the SPAC. Okay. So basically what they're saying is, if a SPAC is launched, 20% is by the founders, 80% goes to public shareholders. So if my SPAC is worth 1 billion, okay, then the founders own 20%, In fact, they don't have to own, they have to actually put in money worth 20%, and 80% they can raise from the IPO. So for example, if I say I want to build a $1 billion SPAC, I have to first put in 22, I have to put 20% of 1 billion, which is 200 million. Okay. And then go raise 800 million from the public. That's how it works. Okay. Now, the remaining 80% interest is held by the public shareholders through something known as units, okay, or SPAC shares. Each unit of a share is like a common stock, okay. It's basically like your normal shares only, and they all have similar voting rights, which is so weird. So how is a SPAC lifetime, entire SPAC life cycle formed? Okay, so first what happens is, one second. Yeah. So first, what happens is immediately a SPAC is formed. By the way, do you know how fast it takes to launch a SPAC? It literally takes 8 weeks to launch a SPAC. Okay, they're listed on the US stock exchange. It literally takes 8 weeks to launch a SPAC. Okay. Whereas if you had to go and list an IPO, it would have taken you forever, but it takes 8 weeks to launch a SPAC. Okay, you launch a SPAC. After you launch a SPAC, you have up to 2 years. Okay, which is around 24 months. So how they do this 2 years is they take 19 months out of 24 months, they take 19 months. And in 19 months, they start finding a perfect target for SPAC acquisition. Then they do negotiations with the SPAC acquisition. And then if they agree, then they come back and be like, cool, we found the SPAC acquisition for the SPAC. Or else if they didn't find it, okay, then they have to keep searching. Once they find it, okay, they have to approve that merger. And once the merger is done, uh, one second, yeah, once the merger is done, the new entity is listed on the stock market. If obviously till 24 months they could not do anything, they have to give the money back. Process of a SPAC works. It's very weird. It's very weird. Now, once a target company is identified. Hello, can you guys hear me? I'll wait until the lag settles down. Okay, wait. I'll wait until the lag settles down. One sec. Okay. One. My Wi-Fi just died. Is it still lagging? Yeah. My Wi-Fi just lagged. Okay. It keeps sometimes it automatically disconnects. Okay, cool. So now what happens? I was just talking about what happens when a target company is identified by a SPAC. Okay. Now once a target company is identified by a SPAC, okay, and a merger is being announced, the SPAC's public shareholder may alternately vote against the transaction also. ये भी हो सकता है. Okay, so basically what happens is if I say that I don't like this SPAC and what company they're taking, they can actually vote against this SPAC and say we don't like this merger. Obviously, if the majority of that vote against the SPAC, then obviously that SPAC is not going to sustain, and then they have to go start finding another one. Okay, so that is how it is usually done. So basically, this public shareholders have a lot of say, huh? Public shareholders have a lot of say in this as well. Whether they like the SPAC or not, whether they like the people investing in that SPAC or not is very important. Okay. Now, what is the advantage here? Okay, what is the advantages of a SPAC and why people like SPAC? Okay. Now, selling to a SPAC can be an attractive option for owners of a smaller company, which are often private equity funds. Okay. Now, firstly, selling to a SPAC can add up to 20% of the sale price compared to a normal private equity deal. I rather have come and sell it to a SPAC rather than going and finding funding. So, for example, if you look at Misho or ShareChat, okay, look at ShareChat right now. Okay, ShareChat, what it did was it said, I'm going to raise $500 million and give so much money, so much equity as bargain to these big funds. Okay, but instead of doing that, now they can be like, you know what, I don't want to raise from these big funds. I'll just go directly to US and start listing in US. Right, so they don't have to pay that 20% to the funds as well, and all the money that comes from the IPO goes to them only. So they're very happy as well. Okay, and this has become so common in 2019 they made the IPO fundraising that happened was around 13.6 billion only in 2019, and big companies like Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, and Deutsche Bank are actually underwriting such IPOs. Okay, now if you look at some of the high profile SPACs that are happening, okay, recent high profile SPACs, um, there was one very big SPAC that happened which involved Richard Branson. Richard Branson is the founder of Virgin, Virgin Airlines and stuff like that. So he has this thing called Virgin Galactic. Okay, so there's a SPAC coming out for Virgin Galactic. Um, Even Chamath, okay, Chamath's SPAC, Social Capital SPAC. Okay, Social Capital is Chamath's fund's name. Okay, one of the very smartest funds. They bought 49% stake in Virgin Galactic for 800 million and then listed it in 2019. Okay, so the SPAC went and acquired a massive stake, almost like a merger, 49-51%, bought 49% in Virgin Galactic, they became partners, and then they went and launched this. Okay, another guy called Bill Ackman, okay, founder of Square Capital Management. Bill Ackman in 2020 sponsored his own SPAC, okay, raised 4 billion and listed his own SPAC. Crazy, right? It's a little weird what's happening, but it is crazy. Now, SPAC has been in the news recently in India also. Okay, there's a company called Renew Power. Okay, and what Renew Power is saying that, you know what, I'm not gonna list in India. I'm going to go directly list in US through a SPAC. Okay, so Renew has announced a business combination with RMG Acquisition Corporation 2, a US based SPAC. So basically, a US based SPAC called RMG Acquisition is now buying some Indian company called Renew. So not buying, but doing a business combination, and then they'll go list directly over there. By the way, another company that you guys all know, Grofers, is also in talks with some US New York based SPAC to go list directly abroad. Okay. Flipkart is also exploring the option of going public in the US with a blank check company. Okay. Earlier, Videocon D2H and online travel agency Yatra.com have also sealed SPAC deals worth millions of dollars. Right? So can you believe what is happening? It is so weird, right? SPAC is gaining a massive traction in USA, but not happening in India because um, you know the problem what's happening in India is in US people respect startups more, right? They're more open to startups, whereas in India we look at more from a fundamental perspective. There, Elon Musk and all, they're investing in stuff like that, a lot of regulation as well. Is SPAC legal? Definitely legal. It is legal, it is recognized. But the thing is, there is, I'll tell you what, one more thing, right? I told you everything has two sides to a coin. Okay. So what SEC is saying, okay, SEC is basically the Securities Commission of Securities and Exchange Commission of USA. Okay, they're like the SEBI of USA. What they're saying is that it is very risky to go with the SPAC. Okay, they've officially come and said that there is a big red flag on SPAC and there's a lot of risk over here. Okay, whenever something like this happens, you know, right, the risk is very, very, very high. So they've officially come and said that it is very weird because there are so many complexities, challenges related to SPAC mergers that are happening right now. There's a lot of tax issues that are happening right now. There is a lot of money being funneled from one area to another right now, because imagine that, right? If there's a company from India listing in US, but the proceeds of that which is going gained from US have to come back to India for the company to operate, it is very weird, right? It is very, very, very weird. So SEC is like, boss, please be careful. Don't just see that this is something like, what do you call it? This is something that is hot in the market right now. So let's just go invest in this and we will make a lot of money. Be very, very careful. Also, apparently, a lot of earlier SPACs, okay, some SPACs in the past have now started becoming bankrupt, right? Because they're just going quickly, and just getting listed as soon as possible without actually being ready for an IPO. Okay, you need to be ready for an IPO. And now a lot of SPACs, what they're doing, okay, remember the sponsor thing we spoke about. A lot of SPACs are rewarding their sponsors for putting a deal together, and this is called sponsored promote. Okay, this allows the deal maker to purchase what's usually a 20% stake in the resulting company for just 25%. So now there are even people or brokers going and finding their only job is to not create a SPAC, but now new brokers have come into into this space where all they're doing is they're just going into a market and finding companies for SPAC and doing a deal with people, right? It is very, very, very weird, guys. So you should be very, very careful on who's holding the SPAC, because it's always good to think about or look at a SPAC where it is, say, like for example, Chamath is there, right? Because he knows that if he screws up this time, if he screws up big time, um, then he'll lose a lot of money, right? So for example, one second, what is this? Yeah. So someone in the chat just mentioned the same thing, right? There was this thing called CC4. Okay, there was a stock called CC4 that's basically called Churchill Capital Corporation 4. Okay. Now they had a price of their offering price was around $10. Okay, and then in a few months that went up to almost what 150% up. By the way, that stock is currently at $21. Churchill CC14 is currently at 21, but it went up a lot. Okay, from when it listed, it actually went up a lot. I'll actually tell you if you want how much it went up. Just give me one sec. Yeah, it went up from $10, it went up to $58 max, highest peak, okay, $58. And after it went up to $58, okay, on March 22nd, 2021, from $58, it crashed straight down and it's now half the rate at $21, okay. It's still more attractive from $10. It's obviously more attractive from $10, but it's fallen down. But it raised around 2.5 billion in capital, and then it merged with electric vehicle company Lucid Motors. Okay, so so what people are saying is there are a lot of these companies that are just doing acquisitions like this. Okay, a lot of big acquisitions, but SEC is like, please be careful, because ये सब ना अभी attractive लग रहा है, but maybe in the long term they're not ready and they're not good enough to do it. Okay, so it's very, very, very weird. Now look at, I'll tell you why this is also a little scary. Okay, banks are becoming greedy here. You remember what happened last time, right? When banks got greedy in 2008. Now banks are getting greedy here. Why? Because now look at this. It says that banks are actually collecting a big fee to do help execute SPAC IPOs. Okay, now, sponsors who bring them public collect a fee that can run up to 25% of the deal value, that we understood, right? So if a SPAC raises 100 million, the initial deal is for 125 million. So basically, if I go find an acquisition company, it's great. But Wall Street banks that help execute SPAC IPOs typically collect 5.5% of the entire SPAC that is raised, or whatever the money it is raised. They collect a 5.5% fees. Now, if they're collecting a 5.5% fees, which is extremely high, guys, okay, all the banks have got very, very, very greedy. Now whenever banks become greedy, you know what happens, and whenever a new instrument comes into the market, everyone's scared and fearful. Now this is what is happening now, because it is like a new thing that is in the market. Iska abhi tak negative impacts, long term negative impacts, we haven't seen right now. Okay, I hope now in the future they don't do something very similar to mortgage backed securities, where they just make a SPAC of SPACs and make one security of SPACs, and that will just be the most annoying, stupid thing ever in life. But you'll never know what these financial instrument guys do. So SPACs are slightly risky. It's better to go into SPACs that are really good. It's better to go into SPACs that are big. Okay, like Chamath has a SPAC and he's doing a SPAC, so it's actually good to see that if someone like Twitter CEO comes and does a SPAC, that is something that I would be okay with. But if I look at some random people coming and getting Serena Williams, then I won't be very happy to get into a SPAC. Yeah, it can be a SPAC scam 2030. It's a SPAC or SPAC or SPAC, but it's also very so it's very sad. Okay, a lot of reading online. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah. Yeah. So someone was asking, saying that what is your someone was asking me, saying that what is your research methods? Research methods basically reading up online and trying to connect the dots, right? I'm like, acha, ye abhi ho raha hai. That is what people are saying. This is how the structure works. But then the question is, how will it impact us? How will it impact someone else? So you should always think about, अच्छा ऐसा कुछ scene हो रहा है इंडिया में, ऐसा कुछ scene market में हो रहा है, but how will it impact me as a person, right? So this is what it is extremely important to understand. So again, this was a small brief introduction or in whatever something about SPAC. I hope you guys learned something new today. But again, we'll meet tomorrow. It's a very interesting day because I want to know what happens tomorrow. Will the market fall again because of the Bombay lockdown, or has the market already adjusted that fall in the last bigger fall, right? So we don't know, but let's see. We don't know whether the market is going to go up or down. We can actually find out. Let me look at how the global indices are doing today. Usually global indices are a good indicator of what is happening. We need to global indices matlab you need to look at who's this, Nasdaq, Nifty. Okay, so all the global indices are slightly up, marginally up. For example, Nasdaq is up. Okay, European markets, London is up, Germany is up. Okay, France is up. So all the US, Europe markets are up. Okay. Sadly, SGX Nifty was slightly down. The Asian markets are slightly down, but most of it was up. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and watch. Okay. But let's see. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's wait and watch tomorrow. In the meanwhile, uh, tomorrow there's an update, guys. So tomorrow I'm not going to put a video on YouTube. I'm actually going to put that video on Instagram, so it's easy for everyone. It's easy for me to manage because it's very difficult to manage 2 3 platforms. So I'm just going to put the video on Instagram and then later on upload it to YouTube, so it's easy for you guys to see it as well. But I'll again update everyone on that as well. Okay, so yeah, so all the people who wanted to go watch the match, please go and watch the match. Even I need to go watch it. Okay, so hope you guys like it, hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, had some insightful knowledge today. Okay, see you guys. Awesome. Bye.